Welcome back, everybody, to the show. I want to go to Igal first. A game you were very confident about winning, my friend, but Arsenal just not at the races today.
Bro, game done after the second goal, season done after the first goal. Really and truly, you see the players' performances. It was just sad to see. Martinelli's injured. Don't know the extent of the injury, but he looked like he was in a walking boot after the game. And let's be honest, it was the deflation started, in my opinion, from when we seen Man City's performance against Everton. As for me as a fan, I don't know about everybody else, but seeing the performance they put in against Everton, especially after they just played against Real Madrid midweek, kind of just makes you realize that these guys are not going to slip up at all. And it's like, season's done, pressure's off. You think these guys go and perform, but no. Brighton come and absolutely outclass us in that game. We had defensive mistakes. We had midfield. The midfield was extremely poor. We couldn't create much. And in the final third, whenever we did get a chance, it was a half chance, or we didn't take it as strongly as we could. You're pretty unfortunate to have injuries happen early in the game to make you change your players around. But it is what it is. Trossard is good enough to come on, and we couldn't. It didn't look like we're going to score. Halftime, you could tell that it wasn't going to be our game. And I was already giving congratulations to Man City before the game, but well and truly deserved after this game for them to be given the congratulations. The season's done. Everybody knows that. The league's done. The title's done. The game was done. And you know what? We just go again next season. We have to wash our hands of it. Say, you know what? We made some good strides. We pushed ourselves to the limit, but it is what it is. Yeah, you can be disappointed about it. You can be angry about it. You can feel whatever emotions you want as a fan, but hey, it is what it is. All we can do now is go again next season and try to learn from this, because we cannot continue to find situations where we're striving for something and we kind of come short at the end. Because last year was top four, this year's the title race. What is going to be next year? The Champions League?
Maybe. I wanted to ask you, in terms of today's game, no Tierney out there, no Zinchenko. How much does that impact your ability to build play from the defense and through the midfield and break those lines of Brighton?
Terry, we can go and look at the Kieran Tierney thing and say that, of course, Zinchenko is much better at controlling games than Kieran Tierney, and that was a big blow. But the whole midfield was poor in the first place. So forget about Kieran Tierney alone. Jorginho, the reason why he's in the game is to help us control the game, and we didn't really have the ball at home much. I don't even know the stats, but it felt like Brighton had the ball more than we did in our own house. So forget about Kieran Tierney. We can look at that and say that's one of the reasons why we conceded so many goals. But it was also Ben White who was getting ripped by Matoma on the other end. You also had situations where the whole midfield, whenever we did have the ball, it didn't look like they were making any progressive passes. So you can put that all down to Kieran Tierney playing. But I think there's much more than that. You don't lose 3-0 because one player is missing.
Yeah, I didn't suggest that you lost 3-0 because he wasn't playing. I'm talking purely about your ability to build up play, maintain possession, and build up attacks. Your pass completion in the first 30 minutes of the game was nearly 20% lower than your average. And I'm asking, if not having a player of Zinchenko's ability, how big a factor is that? And is that an area that you need to strengthen in? I'm not suggesting that all the goals are because he wasn't in the team.
Terry, when Brighton come to your house and nearly have 60% possession come the end of the game, that's everyone needs to wake up and look at themselves, not just one. That's what I meant. I wasn't saying, oh, it's not a miss. Of course, he's a miss.
I'm asking, but Gal, we're trying to do a match review, and I want to review specific talking points of the game. So I'd like specificity around the Zinchenko situation, please.
Zinchenko missing is a big blow, but at the end of the day, Kieran Tierney coming in is good enough to beat Brighton at home. The performance was weak from the whole team. What else do you need me to say, Terry? Zinchenko playing in this game, of course, it gives us more control. But what? Brighton, with the performance we put in, even with Zinchenko there, if we put in the same effort levels, we still get bust.
Fair enough. I'm just trying to ascertain your opinion, because it's a big talking point online now amongst Arsenal fans, and it would be wrong of us to not bring it up. And I think just simply stating, but other people made mistakes as well, is kind of a bit of whataboutism when we're just trying to speak about a particular person out there. Brandon, from your perspective as a Gooner today, what did you make of the performance from your boys, especially in that second half?
Diabolical, Terry. It's as simple as that. This game here emphasises and exaggerates exactly how much work is still needed to be done at Arsenal. I've said it for weeks. There's a mentality issue at this football club, within the players, definitely within the players, because We was 8 points clear, 9 games to go. We've still got 2 games remaining of the season. So in 7 games, there has been a 15-point swing. That is down to mentality for me. 8 points clear, 9 games to go. You should be winning the league, especially when you're playing one game a week. But on today's game, right, I just from the moment that the first whistle blew, you could just tell that. I don't know whether it's like a gal said, that Manchester City win kind of took the sting out of the players, and they kind of accepting the reality now that we're not going to win the league. But when you allow a team that has just been battered 5-0 at home to come to your place and control the game, control the possession. I mean, in the first half, they didn't really create anything from it. We probably had the better chances, and we should have finished them as well. But in the second half, we was absolutely outclassed, outplayed, outworked. What can you say? It was like the players had given up. Ben White getting absolutely schooled by Matoma. Kivior, I don't know what this guy's doing. He's gone down holding his ankle for the first goal. Defend your area first, bro. Lack of experience there for me. I'm not going to call him out too much because, again, he's a young player, lack of experience there. Zinchenko, let's talk about Zinchenko. I'll happily sit here as well and say that I was one who wanted Zinchenko removed from the Arsenal team because of his defensive deficiencies. I'm not going to sit here now and say that he wasn't a missed day, because of course he was. However, that doesn't for me allow this team to go out and lose 3-0 to Brighton. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we saying? We're a one-man team now. Without Zinchenko, we simply can't win games. No, that's a load of crap. Absolute load of crap. So all them fans that are online talking about, oh, well, if we had Zinchenko today, it would have been different. Bullshit. Yeah, bullshit. The reality is Gabriel Jesus, I like the geezer. Yeah, he's a good player, but he doesn't score enough goals. We need a number 9 in the summer transfer window. Bukayo Saka, over recent weeks, over the past, since we drew that game against Southampton, he's had a major dip in form. That's definitely affected us as well. Thomas Partey doesn't look the same player anymore. I just think, we need a midfielder anyway. I think we've definitely got to look at strengthening in that area. Centre back is another area. There's still so much work to be done at Arsenal. However, how do we fix the mentality issue, Tel? Because I said all the way back a few months ago, after we played Man City at the Emirates, and I come out and I said about the players being pussies and not having the right mentality and allowing Manchester City to come back and score 3 goals when we had control of the game. And the cracks were starting to show there. And then over recent weeks, obviously we've seen the drop in performances, the poor results in games that we was winning, that we should have gone on to win, and we've ended up dropping points in, which has cost us. So how do you fix that? We're talking about, do we need to bring in more experienced players? We've got experienced players there. Is it just a case of the players have got to learn from this season and then go again next season? Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, mate. Like, you got to bring in more quality players, definitely, 100%.
No, I totally understand that. We haven't got to answer those questions direct on the show. As I said, this is more reacting to the game, areas that you want to see improve next year. In terms of some of the more super chats that have come through, because I don't want to ignore all of these. Neto here says, anyone with ball knowledge knows Arsenal bottled at the end. They are a problem. Everyone bantering just wants to feel the pain, and rightfully so. I dislike them, but put some respect on Liverpool. Why?
For actually keeping up with them.
Because they've kept up. Yeah. I mean, they have, and Liverpool did get respect. Liverpool being looked at as one of the best teams in the world for the past 5 years. They've had respect. The most overplayed and youngest 11 in the league with key injuries to their defense would struggle to close out the season. Do you think anyone think that's true? Has there been a lack of rotation from Arteta, and does that cost Arsenal in the end? Like, what's your view on that, Mo, as a neutral to this?
No, I don't think so. They haven't played enough games. Like Man United played more. I think Man City played more. To be honest, like I'm just gonna make it short because I know it's the Arsenal guys want to get it out of their chest. Zinchenko, Kieran Tierney. I was looking at the difference between the two coaches, not taking anything away from what Arteta did, but look at Brighton. They had a lot of injuries, but they played the same style of football. But Arsenal fans talking about we can't play the same style of football because Saliba and Kieran Tierney is there, and and Zinchenko are not playing. But I'm looking at the Derby and say, with a lot of changes, he still played the same style of football away at City, at the Emirates, and the Derby has been at the club way shorter than Arteta. This is a question, to be honest, to be asked. Like Caicedo right back, Gilmore in the middle, and instead of who and this, and even Webster is not there. And I see the same exact Brighton every game. Why Arsenal cannot do this with the same players? He spent years at the club. So, to be honest, they should have been playing the same football, but they didn't.
That's a fair point. What do you make of that, Souls? Is this, there's some criticism have to go on to Arteta here for his inability to maintain the mentality of his team, and as Mo said there, the style of football as well.
I think the whole club needs to be questioned. You've given 300k to Saka, and what's happened? Where is he? When's Starboy going to step up now? When's Martinelli now? You've given another 21-year-old 200k. And ever since, and neither one has stepped up. Martinelli then again has put himself about a bit more. But you've given two of the youngest players in this team, before they've actually achieved anything, one of the biggest contracts in world football. I expect them to step up and make it their game. I don't expect them to be bottlers as well. That's where I look at the club. Then I look at Arteta. Okay, Bukayo Saka's having a bad game, or he's had a bad period of football. You still play him. You keep playing him, and you keep playing him. What do you expect to happen? What do you really expect if you're going to play out-of-form players to pick up form? The man knows he ain't going to be dropped. He can score 5 on goals and play the next game. It doesn't matter what he does. He can do no wrong. Because if you drop Bukayo Saka, the fans are going to get a hissy fit. And that's the problem. These men need to earn their wages. They need to earn their wages as an Arsenal manager, as an Arsenal technical director. They should not be scared of what the fans think. If you think a player is not performing, you drop that player. You don't bring in the likes of Trossard in January to keep him on the bench. To do what? To play the last 5 minutes of games? Do you have that lack of trust in your recruitment? You decided not to go get Michaela Mudryk because he was too expensive, and then you bought Leandro Trossard in to do what? Hold the bench? What was the point? You might as well spend an extra 5 million to bring Mudryk in to actually rotate these players out. And we might have actually still had a chance of winning the league. You look at the 2-0, didn't manage that properly against Liverpool. 2-0 against West Ham, didn't manage that properly. You go into the Southampton game, and you've been exposed 3 times this season in the same manner within the first 30 seconds. And we've done it again. In a crucial game, we concede again in the first 30 seconds. It's like, how many times are we going to see a repeated pattern before we question things? It's insanity right now. We're making the same mistakes game in, week out, regardless of who's to blame. All these players come out and they're going to do their stupid apology Instagram pictures. They're going to come out and tweet some bullshit apologizing to the fans whilst they embarrass us week in, week out. And the fans are no better either because they accept this shit. Do you know what people are going to say? Do you know what Arsenal fans are saying on Twitter right now? Incredible season. Proud of the boys.
It's not.
When you're proud of fucking bottling it. You can call Spurs fans out and they keep doing it week in, fucking week out. They make all these stupid TikToks, right, about Spurs bottling it. But then when we do the same exact thing, oh no, can't call our players bottlers. Oh no. Protect their feelings. They're young. We can't do that. We can't call them bottle jobs. What the fuck is wrong with this club? Do you know what I'm pointing at the fans, because the fans have every right to change what's going on. They need to put the pressure on to stop accepting plan Bs coming through the door. If you want Mudryk, fucking go get me Mudryk. I don't want no Trossard.
I get that. Give me one favor. We keep the swearing down a little bit. Is that cool? Just from a YouTube point of view. Like, Gal, what do you make of this? What do you make of what Gunnar Soldier just said there about being harder on these players? It's not a fantastic season. We need to put more pressure on them, more pressure on Arteta, like Mo said as well. What is your take on that, mate?
I said this after we dropped points versus West Ham. We need to find solutions within. We can no longer excuse rotation, because look at Brighton. They went to Wolves, rotated their whole team, and were 5-0 up at halftime. What's stopping us from doing that? What's stopping us from having those type of performances and those kind of rotations in our squad? I am looking at Mikel Arteta and I'm looking at the players. I'm not going to sit here and excuse them for the whole thing and say, oh, they've had a great season. Yes, we can do that. We can be thing. But the reality is, at the business end of the season, once again, two things have cost us. One, we don't have an individual player who stepped up to win us these games, because that's the difference between Man City and us. Gundogan, they need a performance. He stepped up. Haaland, you need a performance. He stepped up. None of these guys stepped up to the plate. Number two, when the manager is against the coach and he needs to do something, what does Pep do? Pep finds a way. All these other managers, they find a way. Mikel Arteta, this is where a little bit of his inexperience at times shows. He doesn't find ways to change the game at times. He doesn't find ways to impact the game in-game to make changes.
Are you blaming him, Miguel? Sorry, are you blaming him?
Unai Emery used to get criticized a lot for making changes in-game. But this game, halftime, you've seen the performance from the midfield, put in Partey. Even though Partey didn't deserve to start, and Jorginho was on merit, deserved to start, at halftime, you can clearly see things needed to be changed. Emil Smith-Rowe, forget about Emil Smith-Rowe. Reece Nelson has been an impact off the bench the whole season. Maybe he should have came in at halftime. I'm just saying, Mikel Arteta, at times, I can see similar things to what other people do in other, when they're calling out young coaches. I see it in basketball with Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics. These guys are making mistakes that is costing the team week in, week out, and at what point is he going to continue to learn on this? I love Mikel Arteta. I love the players, but I am going to call them out. This is two things. One, we don't have no one that's a game changer to step up and say, I'm going to carry the team on the back today. And number two, Mikel Arteta, where's your changes? This is where you got your coaching badges, you got your respect. But today, what we needed was him to say, you know what? The game's not going well. Fix it up.
Do you think he's going to learn fast enough? That's my question. Do you think he's going to learn fast enough?